Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Dr. Manyara.
I hope you can hear me, you can see me.
Yeah, very clear. Good evening.
Yeah, karibuni sana. We are now starting on the course on AI for mededucators. Let
Okay.
me hear if they don't see me, you don't hear me, please let me know. So we are going to start off with some introductions. Please just say your name, what you do, your work. Very fast, everybody, 30 seconds. I think 20 seconds would do. Then we can move on from there. So please speak the mic, just unmute and then say your name. Then we can move on.
Yeah, my name is Paris Kibet or Kipchumba. I'm a lecturer interested in AI. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Kipurgo. I'm glad to be here. I'm a lecturer at KMTC.
Thank you. Keep. Next.
Good evening.
Evening.
Yes, I'm Beatrice Sawe, lecturer, and I'm interested in learning AI. Thank you.
Karibu sana, Beatrice.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is James Mwenda from Presbyterian University, where I am a lecturer.
Karibu Mwenda.
Good evening. I am Gashishan
Evening.
Joroga. I am a lecturer.
Karibu Njoroge. Is it Njoroge or Solomon?
All are my names.
All right. Next. Just
Good
unmute
evening.
and just
Good evening.
evening.
Okay. My name is David Wafula. I've just completed medical education. I'm waiting for graduation, but currently I'm a clinical officer at Wajir County Referral Hospital.
Wow, this is your area, medical education. So welcome, David. I'm waiting for the rest to introduce themselves.
Good evening, team.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Abdullahi, lecturer. So I'm glad to be here.
Karibu sana, Abdullah.
Good evening.
Evening.
Edward Letting is my name, clinical officer, coming lecturer, KMTC, Pan Forest. Thank you.
Karibu sana, Edward. I'm waiting for the other introductions. Those who have not introduced themselves, please do. Then from there, we can move on.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Daisy. I'm admin. I work in a clinic, and I'm glad to be here to learn more about AI.
Karibu, Daisy. I'm looking at the rest, and we have only 2 minutes, so 3 more people, and we move on to the next session.
Hello.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Damaris Kanana, a clinical psychologist and a trainer. Thank you.
Karibu, Damaris. Last 2.
Hi,
Hello.
my name is Mary and I'm a public health nutritionist.
Karibu sana, Mary. And then finally, anyone else who has not introduced themselves, the trainers will introduce themselves later. So we can leave those for now, but let's move on. I'll be sharing a PowerPoint presentation. Just give me 1 second. I load it up. Please confirm that you can see my PowerPoint presentation.
Yes, we can see.
All right.
Yes, we are seeing.
Yeah, so today we're going to start off with this course, AI for Medical Educators. And looks like AI is already a buzzword in the healthcare sector, so we can't be left behind. So just take you through a few scenarios, what is happening in the current situation that we are in, so that you see how close we are or how dire we are in order to learn some of these things in AI. Because AI is already with us. It's already the future. There's no other future. AI is already being used in healthcare. It's already being used wherever we are. So we need to be there. So just show you a few things, not everything, just a glimpse to help us. So the objectives of this short slide, they're just 10 slides, is one, just to talk about clinician as an educator, and then how we should prepare for AI disruption because it's already here with us. And then how we need to prepare the future healthcare professionals because these healthcare professionals are going to work alongside AI. So if we don't train them to use AI or at least to be in that arena or in that environment, then they are going to lose out because these are global citizens. And mainly these are Gen Zs. And Gen Zs know no tribe, they know no country, they know no location. They move. So they need to be aware of what is happening globally so that when they go out there, there's no mincing. They can actually be put into whatever system and they work. So again, we are clinicians and very few of us are trained, or until recently, very few of us are trained as medical educators. I know, is it Wafula who said he's already finished medical education?
Yes,
And some of
madam.
us have not gone. Sorry, who?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So you are lucky you've already been trained on medical education. Some people have not. Most of the times, doctors, clinicians, whoever you are, counselors, once you finish, it is assumed that because you already have the content, you are able to push it out to someone else. But it doesn't always happen because some people are so good in what they do. You can have a surgeon who is so good at their work. When you tell them, can you convey the same? Can you teach your fellow surgeons or your fellow students how to be such a good surgeon? And sometimes they're unable to. I remember in medical school, we had a very good classmate who was very good in biochemistry, who could do very tough biochemistry questions. She would get them. She was a girl who was very quiet, but telling her to explain became difficult. So some of these things, how to teach can be tedious. But the thing is, we can also learn to do some of these things. So we are clinicians, but we are also educators. Remember, even if you're not teaching in class, you're always teaching out there. You're teaching your people on the bedside. You're teaching patients. You're teaching family members. When you go home, you're told, please say a word about 1, 2, 3 things. Please tell us about this. And people assume that you know how to talk, how to deliver such a message. And sometimes it's not always the correct thing. You just need to keep on learning, learning, and learning because learning does not end. So we are clinicians, we are educators. Whether you like it or not, you are still an educator. You always be told, can you tell us about this? Please say a word about this. Please do this. Can you comment on this? But now here we are medical educators. And the reason that we need to learn AI is because already healthcare has taken up artificial intelligence. AI is already transforming healthcare. Patients are being treated by virtue of precision medication. because we all have different DNAs. So if two different patients have cancer, they will not respond to chemotherapy the same way because their genetic makeup is different. So precision medication makes sure that each patient is treated very differently the way they are because different patients react differently. So that is one of the things. So healthcare has taken it up. It is transforming healthcare. We have seen AI reading X-rays imaging better than even the radiologists. We have seen prosthesis or even robotic surgeries being done. So already AI is transforming healthcare. So how can we be left behind? Remember, we are training healthcare professionals. I think the current Gen Z, we are training them to work alongside artificial intelligence. So what does that mean? They need to be aware of some of these tools that we are using so that by the time to get to practice, then they are already in the know. So one is that healthcare is already being transformed very fast. Number two is that we have a very tech-savvy students. Our students were born with computers in their hands like this. We were not. So we had to learn a lot about computers. They know they're ahead of us. But there are some things that they are doing that may not really be very good. I mean, it has to be ethical. We need to teach them how to use AI ethically. But how can you teach people to use AI ethically when you do not know about how to use AI? Remember, they'll come and present to you research. They'll come and present to you papers. Maybe you've given them homework. And they'll just go to AI and just generate something, some paper, something, and they'll present it to you. So if you're not keen, if you do not know where to look, you'll just be duped. They'll just be laughing on your back. They'll say, Modimu just took my work, give me 9 out of 10 or whatever, because we do not know how to use AI. So the best thing is to learn to use it because already our students are using it. And again, they are going to work alongside AI. And it's not just the teaching, there's also research. Remember, they are doing research because I know students everywhere are doing research. So if they're doing research, to make sure that you are also safe, make sure that you know that this is AI generated, this is not AI generated. And for you to know that, it means you need to learn research, you need to learn AI, verify that information, get to be sure this is AI generated or this is not AI generated. A few days ago, we just got a whole manuscript somebody had written to us and wanted it to be in a journal. And we couldn't make sense out of it. And when we asked AI, is this AI generated? It not only told us it is AI generated, but give several reasons why it was. So for you to be able to do that, and for your student to know that they cannot lie to you, then you get to have your details here on your fingertips. So you are at the heart of the medical transformation, medical education transformation. Because if we do not do it now, when are we going to do it? Because you learn the AI, you teach the AI to the current generation of students. These are the people that are going also to move on with it. So let us keep on learning artificial intelligence because this is going to be at the heart of everything that we do, whether it is in the healthcare, whether it is in training or research. Remember, those three things go together: training, you as a clinician, and then research. And sometimes it's difficult to separate them. You just got to put them together, but use AI because it is used already in all these three spheres. So as a medical educator, how then do you prepare for this disruption? Because you're already a clinician, AI is being used in the healthcare sector, so you can't run away. Even if you decide you're not going to teach, It is being used in the hospitals. You are a trainer. Your students are already using AI to do almost everything. And if you're a researcher, students are already ahead of you. So we must do something about it. To do something about it, we just need to learn. And remember, the shift is happening very fast. What we are learning today, it might not be the same next month. But the beauty is if you have the basics of AI, even if something changes tomorrow, you still have those basics. It's like just having a mathematical formula. Even if things were to change so much, you still have the basics. So that's what we are saying from the traditional, you see, the traditional way of teaching to the current system of teaching, things are changing and changing very fast. And I think probably our generation is the ones that are a bit slow because our children, the Gen Z and the Gen Alphas have already moved on. So we need to catch up. And for us to catch up, then we need to train ourselves. So for us now to do that, what do we need to do? The first thing is to understand that there are so many artificial intelligence tools. There's so many. In fact, even if you started learning them, you wouldn't finish. But you need the basics and to learn the few that are there. Because once you understand 1, 2, then it is very easy to apply to the rest. And then the second thing is to learn to evaluate them. Remember, AI just picks from the system. So whatever material has been thrown to the system is what it picks. That means you need to verify everything AI says, because not all information that you get out there is correct. So we need to verify. And by verification, it means we are also integrating them ethically and helping our students to integrate them ethically. But beyond using those tools, maybe for teaching, generating lesson plans, generating PowerPoint slides, we can also automate our tasks. There's something called workflow. Maybe as we go along, the trainers will mention workflow. So you can actually automate your tasks and just enjoy someone else doing that work for you. Remember, AI is your assistant. It is not the main person. You are the main person. So you can give AI some tasks to be doing for you, the ones you know that it can do for you, because there are things AI will not do. AI will not mentor your student. It will not inspire your student. It will not motivate your students. It will not see that student who really needs probably some emotional help. It will not do that. You must be the one to do those things. So even as we use AI and AI tools, let's always remember AI is an assistant. And your assistant at home, for example, your house help, you don't give them everything. You only give them things that can be delegated. And then after that, you embrace continuous learning. And if you embrace continuous learning, you enjoy the journey. So thank you so much. Karibuni sana. So I'll just take you through some of the things that we expect during the course of this journey, because there will be lessons, there will be demonstrations, there will be presentations. So just take you through some of the things that you need to do so that you can enjoy the journey. Because the thing is, we want, as you get into the class, we want you to use the tools. This is hands-on, it is not theoretical class. Of course, there will be theory so that you understand maybe a tool, but most of it is hands-on so that you also practice. And that's why we put the class on Friday and Saturday. So Friday you learn, Saturday you learn, and then use the rest of the week in your classes to practice what you learn. By the time you're coming back on Friday and Saturday again, you'll already have practiced and seen some of the challenges, maybe some of the things that work, something that you're ready to share, and maybe some feedback that maybe we need to do this and this. Yeah, so that is how the class is organized. So let me stop sharing this and just share just something that you need to note. As we go through each of the tools. It's a very simple word. It's just the expectations for you to be able to learn and enjoy the learning. Number one, there will be theory, a bit of theory, what maybe an AI tool means, what lesson planning is, and how to do it. Then the trainers will demonstrate how do you do maybe prompt engineering, like what we are doing, the prompt engineering we are doing it today. And then a bit of practice. Then, of course, there will be return demonstrations and presentations. And then we would expect that you give us some feedback. What worked? What are the challenges? How can we make this process better? So with that, I would love to hear any questions before I give it to the trainers. So any questions before I give it to the trainers? Anything that you do not understand in terms of how the course will be run?
Yeah. As for me, I think those introductory remarks are quite explicit and good, and they have created more expectations, and I hope those expectations will be met. I think so far so good.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mwenda, for that. And we can also have our own expectations. You can also write down your expectations. What do you really want from this course? So that as we go along, we can see whether that can be actualized. This is the second cohort. We finished the first cohort last month. So this is the second cohort. So we learned a few things when we had the last cohort. So we are also trying to improve the course as we go along. So any other question, we can always keep on answering. So before I give it to the trainers, who will introduce themselves and who introduce themselves. I know they will all not be here today. We have Jeremy, we have Chris, we also have Fiona. There is also Dominic who will come in later. So there are quite a number of people that will support you. And during the week, the 1 week that you're off in the break, these people are always ready to help. In case you need any help, please reach out. So any question before I give it to the trainers to introduce themselves first and then to take it away? So going once, going twice. All right, so Jeremy, please take it up from there. Introduce your team. And then from there, you can take it up.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Dr. Lucy, for the introduction. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session for AI for medical educators. This is the second training we are having this year, We had the first one, now this one is the second one. So we are doing this course as Med Education Hub and an AI Lab under the AI Machine Learning Initiative. So we are combining our strengths to bring you how we can focus on practical AI in medical education, and also to improve teaching and healthcare in general using AI. So our goal is not just to talk about AI as a concept, but to show you how to apply it directly in your work as trainers and educators. So I'm Jeremy, part of the NAI AI Lab team, the trainers. We also have Chris and our director, Fiona. Yeah, so hope we learn together and also get to experience the power of AI, and also you can keep your questions, like we can ask your questions so that we continue learning together. So maybe I give you a brief of what you're going to learn. So we'll begin by learning how to write prompts, videos, and also coming up with content. And then now we'll discuss more tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Canva, Lumen 5, InVideo, 11 Labs. So like these are some of the tools we'll be using as we go on. We'll show you how to register, how to access them. And then after that, now we'll do AI for lesson planning, where we'll design structured, interactive, and impactful training sessions using AI tools. So we'll be able to craft a lesson plans that you can teach, that you can also help improve in your current lesson plans. After that, we'll also learn about how to integrate images, avatars, and also presentations into your lessons so that to make your teaching more engaging, and also add interactivity to your lessons. So there'll be a lot that we'll go through over the coming 4 weeks as the first session. So today we learn how to what is AI and how to use AI. So you're all welcome to this session, and hope we get to learn more with you guys. Yeah. Maybe I can introduce Chris.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris. I'm a trainer at NAI Lab, and I'm really excited to welcome you guys to this session of artificial intelligence in medical training. So today I'm going to be your trainer. So let me share my screen. You can confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, so today we are going to talk about AI in AI training for medical trainers. So our main agenda today is we are going to see like what AI is, what actually AI is, and some of we are going to have some practical use cases in medical training. So we are going also to see how AI works, including the generative part of AI, the large language models, and the engines behind tools like ChatGPT. Also, we are going to talk about prompt engineering. Here we are going to see how you can communicate effectively with the AI system to get useful results, and compare good prompts and bad prompts. That's part of the things we are going to see. So we are also going to address the ethics of using AI. So this includes the biasness of AI, like we're going to see the transparency and the responsibility, like while they like the responsibility you need to like take when using like AI tools in healthcare. So after that, we are going to see like we are going to have like a hands-on demonstrations like on our text generation. We are going to do image generation, and we are going to have a session for like audio generation and even video generation, like using AI. So lastly, we are going to like explore like okay, that's all we're going to see in our today's session. So here we are going to start by seeing like how AI is transforming medical training in Kenya. So first thing, like we all need to know, like AI is not just like a buzzword, like it's already changing how we train in healthcare like professions right here in Kenya. So like the trainers, the medical educators we had in our last cohort. So we learned a lot of things. So we started by seeing like the virtual patient simulations, like it was the last thing we did the other day. So here we looked at tools like a body interact, tools like a body interact that allows the trainers to create like a realistic diagnosis and treatment scenarios without like needing to like have a live patient. So this means like students can like practice safely with and repeatedly with these tools like the virtual patient simulations. Secondly, like we're going to see AI assisted like skill assessment. So here we are going to see like platforms such as like fundamental VR, like track trainees. So here we have like a hands movement during surgical practice. So this gives instant feedback, helping like to improve like the precisions and confidence in the skill assessment tests. So here, thirdly, you're going to see like a personalized learning paths. So by personalized learning paths here, like we're going to see like systems like AI coach, like you can use to adapt like in your coursework to teach trainees strength and weaknesses instead of one size fits all. Like every learner gets like a custom journey. Like it's not going to be like something. Okay, every learner they'll get like a custom journey. Each learner they'll get their own experience, something like that. So so another way how AI is transforming medical training in Kenya. So here we're going to see we're going to talk about like automated content creation. So here we are like AI can generate case studies. You can use AI to generate case studies. You can use it to generate quizzes. You can use it like to generate visual aids. Like this helps like in reducing like preparation time for trainers and ensuring materials like stay up to date. Like you have access like to information that is updated, like it's up to date. So on the next slide. So okay, yeah, on the introduction, Jeremy, you've done the introduction part. So we are going to start by seeing like what AI is. So like what exactly is AI? So at its core, like AI is a combination like of it's a combination of like a human intelligence data with like a machine learning algorithm. So what human intelligence data means is that okay, this is the person, like let's say like a medical like expertise, like you bring as the trainers and doctors. So like your expertise, you bring it like as a trainer or a doctor. Like let's say for an example, like let's say for an example like you are teaching, like, okay, let's say we are teachers, we are trained, we are medical educators, or like let's say a medical educator, like doing like having an experience of maybe 15 years of diagnosing like something like malaria, let's say in Nairobi or in Kiambu. So that's human intelligence. So it's an expertise that you bring as a trainer or a doctor. So an example is that one I've said. So the data part, or this is the raw material, like it could be like patient records, like the cases of maybe, let's say, the disease you are talking about, or the educational data, maybe, let's say, student performance or disease prevalence in a region, or by region, categorized by region. So what machine learning algorithm means is I'm audible. Hopefully I'm audible, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So what machine learning is, machine learning algorithm, what it is okay, these are systems that learn, like they learn a pattern, like from data. They learn patterns from data, so they can recognize things like let's say, like in X-rays, they can predict like which students may like struggle, or like optimize like teaching methods. So that's what an AI is. So by combining human intelligence data and machine learning algorithm, that's you get AI. So here you get like a generative AI. So here you get outputs like by generative AI, you can get text, you can get images, you can get videos, and you can get large language models. So here, AI equation for medical training. So an AI equation for medical training. So here we have human intelligence, we had data, we had machine learning algorithm. So here we have AI. So that's the AI equation for medical training. So by breaking this down, like AI equation, like it applies directly to medical training here in Kenya. So human intelligence here, as I say, this like it's like your expertise, like you as a medical trainer. So you have to think about it like how like a senior consultant, let's say someone like a surgeon, shares like knowledge on how an experienced doctor used like real life case stories to guide like a students. So this covers the human layer of which is irreplaceable, like it's something like you cannot replace. So this is your expertise. So from this perspective, you take like AI as you don't take AI as your replacement, like you take it as a tool that's there. It's not here to replace you, like you as the expertise on the human intelligence part, you provide your expertise as the medical trainer. So for you in coming up with AI as in a medical training, like you as a trainers or medical trainers, you are irreplaceable in that part. So when we talk of data in medical training, so this thrives, okay, medical training mostly like it thrives in data. Like let's say, for example, like patient records, let's take a case scenario of a malaria case across like let's talk of Kiambu County. So to examine like a student, like to examine a student exam like performance, that's another example. So, or even like let's talk about regional statistics on a disease prevalence. So these data sets, like they give AI like the context it needs to learn. So like data, what data means, like this is what AI uses, like this is what AI uses, like to learn. So they on machine learning, it's a repetition. So on machine learning algorithm, so once you feed an AI with human intelligence and data, so the algorithms they are used to identify patterns. So they might analyze the X-ray to stop to spot early signs of disease, predict where students are where students are likely to struggle in their coursework, or suggest optimize training methods. So when you combine human intelligence, data, and machine learning, so here you get artificial intelligence. So that's the artificial intelligence equation for medical training. Let's go to the next slide. So on the next slide, we are going to talk of generative AI. So generative AI is one of the most parts of artificial intelligence today. Unlike traditional artificial intelligence, which only analyzes and predicts the existing data, generative AI can actually create you new content. I know most of you have interacted with different AI tools. Most of you I know have interacted with the generative part of AI. So on generative AI, so it can generate you text. Let's say for an example, it can produce you a lesson plan or a case study for your medical training. Another one, it can generate you images. So it can generate you images highly detailed illustrations on maybe, let's say, a case scenario of maybe a malaria parasite for teaching purposes. It can also produce you audio, video, also on the video part, we can talk of patient education videos or training simulations. So here we have a chart you can input. So if you input text, an AI can provide you with an output of a text. It can give you a translation. It can provide a summarization, a question, Q&A, and it can also provide a grammar correction. So on the output side, it can also, here we have image. It can generate images and videos. On the audio part, it can transform text to speech. On decisions, you can use it to play in games. So at the heart of generative AI, there are large language models. So here we have systems like GPT-4. We can use, okay, so now it's GPT-5, GPT, let's go with GPT-4. We can use Gemini or Cloud A. So these models are they are trained on massive data, they have access to massive data. So they're able to respond to prompts with coherent, useful and creative outputs. For medical training in Kenya, so what this means, AI can create you visual aids without needing to be a graphic designer or anything. It can build you quizzes, case studies in minutes, and you can use it to create lesson plans. It can generate you culturally relevant teaching content for both urban and rural learners. So what this means, generative AI is your digital assistant. It's ready to help you produce materials, ideas, and resources for faster, in a much faster way than ever it used to be traditionally.
Sorry, Jeremy.
Okay.
What is LLM?
These are large language models. So by LLMs, these are tools available. Let's say like on ChatGPT, we have GPT-4. So those are the LLMs. Like an LLM is a large language model. So this is a system. Let's say in ChatGPT, they have a model like for GPT-4. It's for cloud, they have a cloud too.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, we're on this slide, we're going to see like what AI can't do. So these are the cons of AI. So as powerful like as AI is, it is important like it's always important like to remember its limitations. It has a lot of limitations. As much as it helps us, produce like ideas, teaching materials in a much faster way, and having access to a massive data. Yeah, it has a limitation. So what it is like, it cannot like what AI functions like a bit in a fast and much advanced way, but it cannot like replace human judgment or experience. So so here three areas like where AI falls like short. So like AI like doesn't have common sense. So AI doesn't have it doesn't have lived like experience or intuition. So for example, like it can analyze thousands of malaria cases, but it won't like understand the cultural context of how like the patient describes the symptoms, like maybe let's say in a Kenyan context or in a Kenyan rural clinic. I hope that one it's understandable. Another thing AI can't do, like it can't give like an ethical judgment. So by here, what it means, like AI cannot like decide like what is like a morally like something that's morally right. Like let's say for instance, if an algorithm like prioritizes like a certain patient over others, like it won't weigh the ethical implications that the responsibility that stays with the medical professionals. You as trainers, you know that the judgment of yours, the AI like can't do that. So thinking on the go, another one AI can't do. It can't do like thinking on the go. Okay, as humans, like we can improvise like or adapt to like an emergency or something. Let's say like something like let's go with a sudden like allergic reaction during maybe a surgery, and a high like won't act in real time with the creativity of maybe empathy. You as a medic or a trainer, like you as a human, you can do that, but AI can't do that. So this means like okay, AI should be taken like a tool, like a supportive tool. It's not a replacement. I've insisted on that. So like it's there like to assist you, like analyze and generate, like, but it cannot like produce the final like responsibility in medicine or training, which will always like remain with us, like as medical trainers or as human beings. So here now we are going to, after understanding what AI is, what it can't do, now we are going to see prompt engineering. So what this means.
Just a minute, Chris. Maybe if there is any question or anything that is not yet clear before we move to the prompt engineering, because now we are moving to the specifics of using AI. And I don't know whether the question on what a large language model is, if you feel you've understood or you'd like more explanation, and we can also just reflect a little bit on what has been trained so far, and then now we move to the next phase. So I'm Fiona, the director of AI machine learning. Any comments, any question? And we can also just discuss one small issue that I had written, because I have a challenge with my voice in case I lose my voice at some point.
So can you elaborate on really the large learning modules? Is it a program? Yeah, I know there is some GPT, but are they programs? Are they in databases?
Hello. Hello.
Hello, David.
Okay, I think my understanding is about on large language model. For example, like ChatGPT or Gemini, we may have ChatGPT 3, ChatGPT 4, ChatGPT 5. It means that it will have ChatGPT 1, 2, 3, 4. So we may have also, just like your phone, you have generation 1, second generation, like phone A16. We may, in the next future, we may have A32, A78. That is why we say it is just a fashion. Or if we come to like aerospace engineering, for example, in US we have F-35, we used to have F-22. So it is just a model that is building on. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, David. I think David has explained that well.
And also, just for one of the things that we are finding, the large language models is basically a very, very large database of what has been trained for AI to be able to use technical terms. You send a prompt, and then now it has been trained all what is happening in the background using machine learning, deep learning, to actually translate what you're saying into human-like language. You see, right now, most of the time you ask ChatGPT something, it can bring you something in social language, in technical language, depending on what you're doing. So it's basically that whole database that is being used, and the process. So the process of how it has been trained to become better than a Google search. Because as you can see, it's now better than just a Google search. If you ask it a question, it doesn't just provide facts, it can actually provide for you a solution. You cannot ask Google to create for you something and it creates for you like an image from a prompt. So all that, translating what you ask, whatever is happening in the background, essentially that is it. And so the big, and it's large. Like when they say large, it's very large. And I think there's also small language models, smaller ones that you can start, but those are still, they're small, but they're not small. Even the small language models are extremely, extremely big. Any further questions or clarification on this, I see? Or what about, someone else can answer that. Maybe Jeremy or Chris, you can answer. I see you've already responded on the text, Jeremy, about what's about, but just continue. But if it's something we'll cover later, we can address it later.
Okay. Someone was talking.
Okay, somebody was asked what's about and how to use it. So maybe a minute. Chris, you can allow me to share.
You can just share. Madam Lucy will let you share.
A minute. So there is this. So like Chris will do the prompts, will make you understand what is a prompt and what is. So as we're saying, a bot is ChatGPT is an LLM. So an LLM is a large language model that uses data to come up with outputs. That is what Chris is sharing currently. There is the prompt and then the input. When it goes to the large language model, it generates the output. So in our case here, we have ChatGPT, which is the main large language model many of you use. So when you want to use it, you'll come over here in ChatGPT, you write something you want to say. So you can say create a lesson, like create something for me, a lesson plan or anything. And then that is the prompt and then the output. So this is the bot we are talking about. It's not necessarily a bot, it's a chat bot because you are chatting with it and getting output. Chris will show you how to chat with it appropriately with effective inputs. So Chris, you can continue.
And sorry, just one last thing before we move to the next one. What we're talking about on the application of ChatGPT, there was an article last year, November 2024, where doctors were selected and they were told to make a diagnosis. So different, randomly selected. Some using ChatGPT, some by themselves, and ChatGPT by itself without any human interference. And as you can see, it scored 90% versus doctors who scored 74 without ChatGPT and 76. Just to show the capabilities, and these are, they were randomly selected. There's a whole paper showing the study of how it happened, but they are qualified. This is an area of expertise. It's not an area that they don't know, to show the fact that it has a lot of knowledge. But as you can see, when you see that the doctors, it's a small study, so it's not generalizable to a large population, that they scored 76%. Even with it, it just shows that the use of AI right now provides the potential for allowing us to have new knowledge outside of what we've always known. And if you use it with an open mind and use it regularly, it will actually now make you learn new things, or maybe just have a different perspective, or engage more. So it's something that is quite useful. And it's always said it's a companion, as it's being reiterated a lot of times. It is just a companion, but a very, very, very useful companion that can, it's not a search engine. And the purpose of this training is to help us to stop using it for simple prompts, like just create a presentation, create a lesson plan, to engage with it quite actively, especially because for the medical field, the large language models are very effectively trained. They've been trained except with all manner of data, because the medical field is a field that is very well documented. But we also, one of the challenges that we face is there's not a lot of contextual data on Africa or in Kenya or in communities. So we are hoping that as these trainings continue, we'll actually not move from being consumers only to people who are responsible for creating context that will help to shape the large language model and provide solutions that are more relevant for us, even avatars, everything. So that is the hope, that this is one of the steps towards that in the future. Over.
Thank you for that. Any other maybe concern as we go to prompt engineering? I think maybe we'll continue. So prompt engineering. Okay, now this is one of the most important skill with AI. Like this is prompt engineering is one of the most like important skill while using an AI tool. So what a prompt is, it's simply like it's a text or a question you provide to a language model to get specific output. So it serves like a starting point for an AI model to generate new content. So this prompt is simply like a text or question you give an AI system. So think of it as your instruction or your command. So the AI outputs is only as good as the way you ask the question. So the output you get from an AI depends on how well you communicated with it, or how well you've instructed it, or how well your command was. So that will determine the output you'll get from an AI tool. So let's say if you ask like a ChatGPT, if you ask it a question like vaguely, like you'll get like vague results. So if you give it like a clear structured prompt with maybe a context, a role, and goals, like you'll get like high quality and useful responses. So a prompt is your input. So a language model provides you like an output, which is generated in maybe generated text or something like that. So in medical training, prompt engineering is the most powerful, like because it allows you like to generate case studies like specific to your area. Like it helps you like create lesson plans tailored to your maybe student levels. It helps you also to simulate clinical scenarios in practice. So in prompt engineering, so your ability like to talk, the ability to talk like to AI in the right way determines whether it just whether it's something, let's say let's say a toy, or a serious professional assistant. So if your ability to talk to an AI model, you have the ability to talk to an AI model in a right way, it will determine whether it's a toy or like a serious professional assistant to you as a trainer in your work. So by here now we're going to see examples of a good prompt and a bad prompt. So a good prompt and a bad prompt. So a good prompt, okay, this is where like so understanding the difference between a good prompt and a bad prompt. So a bad prompt like is usually too vague, too generic. Like you give it you don't provide an AI with a detailed information of what you want. You just give it a generic you provide it with a generic instruction or command. So if you give it a generic, too general or a vague prompt, you'll get like for example, here we have like a draft a lesson plan. So this is too generic, it's too general. So so this kind of prompts, like let's say this one are like for a draft a lesson plan. So this will give you like a very generic content, something that may not not apply like to let's say to our, let's talk of the Kenyan context. It won't do that. It won't know your audience or your goals. For you as a medical trainer, if you ask it to draft your lesson plan. So these are the things that will be missing. So it will miss the context. That's we are talking of a Kenyan context. So it will miss your audience, that's your students, and it will miss your goals for you as a trainer. So here, we have a good prompt. So this good prompt, it's firstly it's clear, it's too specific, it has a structure. So here you can see we can take it through. So here we've asked create a detailed lesson plan for a malaria for secondary school students. So the lesson should be 1 hour long. Someone is talking. So the lesson should be 1 hour long, and it should include the following: the learning objectives, the concept, in brackets, cause, transmission, symptoms, preventions, treatments, and impact on society. So it required like teaching materials, step-by-step lesson procedures, which should have an introduction, the main activities, group work, discussion, and conclusion. So assessment methods. So the assessment methods, we should have a question, quizzes, or short activities, and the suggested homework or extension activities. So we want it to use a clear and student-friendly language, and to highlight interactive elements such as role play, posters, and debates to make the session. So maybe this one you can.
Excuse me, Chris.
Okay.
The Nguni prompt, it seems a bit too long. Will you type all this time as a prompt when using AI?
So by that, you can do the prompt by yourself. You can write it, or you can also ask ChatGPT to write your prompt. You can use an AI tool to write your prompt, or you can also do it by yourself.
Can type all this as a prompt?
Yeah, you can.
I guess Chris will explain how you analyze a prompt to get a good prompt. See, Chris, you're doing that next.
Yeah, he was asking like the good prompt is too long. So I was telling him if he can use the AI to generate the prompt, or he can do the typing. Is that okay?
I just wanted to know if there is a limit of once you use when you are prompting the AI, because I can see this a whole paragraph.
Oh yeah, it's too long, but you can always type it, but it doesn't have a limit. I don't think you can write a prompt that exceeds the limit that ChatGPT takes as text. I don't think you can write a prompt that's too long like that. But if you have the content, you can write it, but you can also ask ChatGPT to write your prompt.
Chris.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
I think in my expression, a good prompt is just like, for example, if you want to teach something, only pick the main point, the specific what you want to achieve. So, for example, if you, for example, like malaria, you want to teach malaria, depending with which class or which year of a student. If you so you write say malaria, then you say in good prompt you say definition of malaria, then you go to the causes or the epidemiology, then go to causes, clinical symptoms, and then you go to treatment, management, complication. That is what you write, so that when you write like that and you go to add one of the LLM or ChatGPT or Gemini, it will give you more detailed. But if just you say malaria, it will give you fake information. Let me say fake vacuum information. So this one, you must be specific. What do you want to achieve? So it will depend on your objectives. Objective will guide you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. So what a good prompt is, let's go to the next slide. Maybe
now, excuse me.
Okay.
Now, for example, this particular good prompt is talking about malaria. We know over a period of time, the management of malaria has changed over time. And as AI pick the most recent version of the treatment, or it can include all the treatments like chloroquines and what have you?
What AI is, okay, these models, they keep on being updated. Like, let's say there's a change in what you said in malaria. So that is updated in the model. So it will always give you the recent what do you call it? The recent procedure or the plan to handle malaria.
Maybe I can add there, Chris.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So if you want the latest guidelines, maybe malaria guidelines, tuberculosis treatment guidelines, HIV guidelines, you can actually instruct the AI to give you the current guidelines. Or if you have the current guidelines, you can even put it in the either ChatGPT and tell it to summarize for you. Then tell it to include the current malaria or HIV or whatever guidelines. So it all depends on your prompt. If your prompt is good, then it will include whatever it is you want it to include. So you can instruct it to do that. Back to you.
And just as I think as you're all contributing, you're answering a very important question. This is a good prompt, but most likely it will need to be longer and more specific. As you start prompting, you'll realize you have to define your objectives. You'll realize you need to ask it to use the most recent data. You can need to ask it to focus on Kenyan population. So the more specific you are in outlining what you expect, and sometimes you even give it an example. You can tell it, you can use this style. So a prompt cannot be too long. And sometimes there are prompts that can be a full page long. So the more specific you are, the more it will give you exactly what you need. Otherwise, it will keep asking you questions, and it might even, as you hear people say, hallucinate or provide you inaccurate information. And the inaccuracy is because you didn't ask it specifically. As you were saying, for example, it used old data because you didn't specify, use data that use this regimen, use the latest this or the latest that. So all that is information that whatever you want, the more specific you need it to be, the more specific you have to ask it to be. Otherwise, it is trained on so much data that it will bring sometimes what is most frequently used. Sometimes it will bring what is in countries that interact with it a lot more than it does in Kenya. So be specific, as detailed and as specific as possible, but it's not too long. And then Chris is going to get to this. You can save the prompt. So let's say if you want to do something similar for another disease, let's say you want to go to cholera, and there are a lot of similarities, you can just edit. But we are going to get into that.
Now, I have a concern there. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, well, let's go to, there is what we call academic writing. For example, when you are writing a paper, you are expected to do some referencing and where you got the information. When you are using, for example, AI GPT for when you are referencing, can you reference this as the source of information?
Can I answer that for you, Chris?
Okay, you can answer.
So, James, you cannot reference AI as a source of your information because AI does not write papers. But there are some AI tools that are very good for research, generation of citations. But the important thing is you have to verify those citations and not just verify the citation itself. you have to verify. For example, if a sentence is written and AI has cited a certain citation, you have to go to the paper itself to make sure that what it has said about this paper is correct. Sometimes it hallucinates, it dreams, and if people are lazy, you can easily take that and say this is a citation, which is not true. So you cannot, so the answer is you cannot cite AI as a source because AI does not write. Number two, it will give you a very easy time to get citations, but you still have to verify that they are correct. But there are tools that are very good for those verifications. So we'll show you as we go along.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So from the two now you can see the differences of a good prompt and a bad prompt. So a good prompt provides like who is speaking. It provides like the context, where and why. It gives like you give the instructions like what to include, the tone to use, maybe professional, cultural, maybe sensitive, and the goal like to be clear, implementable, or and the outcomes. So when you give like all these components to in your prompt, when you're asking when you're asking for information from an AI tool, like it transforms your result from generic like to being practical, to like you target a specific audience, and like you can make it like in a local relevance. Maybe let's say you take it on a Kenyan context perspective. So in medical training, this is like difference. This is the difference between like something your learners can truly apply. So and something like just sound good on paper. Like you can note something that's good and something that's too generic. So on the next slide, now we're going to see prompt engineering analysis for medical training. Okay, now here we are going to look like how prompt engineering applies like directly to medical training in Kenya. Someone is unmuted.
Let me check.
James, when? Okay. So a good prompt, with a good prompt, so so the anatomy of a good prompt transform generic medical training content into targeted, applicable solution for Kenya health care systems. So here we are going to see like a good prompt as these 5 key components that work together to come up with a good prompt. So number 1, we have the role. So when you are asking for information from an AI tool, it's important to for you to assign the AI like a professional identity. Like for our case here, let's go for something like you are a senior consultant surgeon, something like that, or you are a public health epidemiologist, something like that. So this activates like the right medical knowledge. If you give it a role, we are talking of medical training here. So if you give it that role, it activates like the right medical knowledge. So number 2 is context. So by context is you set an environment. You set an environment for the AI tool. So let's say like we are talking of something like a rural healthcare setting with limited resources, something like that. So you say a district hospital continuing education sessions. So this makes like the output like realistic and relevant. By giving an AI context, it ensures like your output is like more realistic and relevant to the context you've provided. For instance, here I said like an hospital in a continuing education session, or a rural healthcare setting with limited resources. So with that, you provide you'll get like a more realistic output, which is relevant. So number 3 is instructions. So if you provide an AI with clear directions, like let's say something like create like a learning objective with the assessment method, like we have in our slide here. So, or design a case study with a practical exercise. So this ensures like your output is comprehensive, like you give it the directions you want, so you make your output to be more comprehensive. Number 4 is the tone. So the tone controls like how the content is delivered. By the tone, by the tone, we are talking of something, let's say a professional tone, like let's say for an instance, like an authoritative yet accessible, something like that, or something like it's cultural, sensitive, or respective. So this is important, like in healthcare training. Yeah. So lastly is the goal. So you define what success looks like by defining the goal here. You define what success looks like. So here you get like let's say for an example, let's talk of something like immediate clinical like application with measurable outcomes. So you give it like a specific goal to ensure like you get like you get your final output in a way that I don't know how to explain that, but yeah, it gives you like I don't know how to explain that, but like it provides you with something that aligns with your standards or what you want. Yeah, that's on the goal. So these are the 5 components that work together in prompt engineering. So when you are writing a prompt, always remember to include the role. By including the role here, you provide an AI with a professional identity. You have to have a context. So here you give it an environment, instructions. Here you provide it with the direction. So by the tone, this determines how your content is delivered. So by the goal, this defines how your success looks like. So this ensures like you get outputs from an AI that aligns with your standards. So here we are going to see from vague to specific. So transformation examples. So here, okay, maybe I'll go back to this component. So I'll maybe explain a bit little on how these components work together. So, okay, what happens when you put all these 5 components together, like the role, the context, instruction, the tone, and the goal together? So you create like a powerful tool that transform generic AI responses like to practical, local, relevant solution for your medical training. So by giving the role, here I said ensures like the AI is thinking like a professional, like it thinks as a professional with the right expertise. By giving it the context, it makes sure like the scenario matches the real life conditions, let's say in our country, Kenya. So by providing instructions, this provides like a structure. So nothing important like it's left out. By giving the tone, this guarantees that the output is professional or respectful or provide something that's culturally sensitive. By focusing on the goal, this focuses the output on measurable outcomes. Like it gives something that's not just only theory, but real. Yeah, I think that one done. Now we can go from vague to specific transformation of examples. So here we are going to see like a practical look on how like vague prompts compare like to a well-engineered one in medical training. So here we have a vague prompt. So we have help me teach about pediatric emergencies. So the results here we can
Chris.
we can see. Yes.
Okay. And continue.
It's okay. You can see my screen on the chat GPT.
Not yet, no.
Is that let me stop sharing. I share the entire screen.
Okay. I can assist you in that.
It's okay, it's okay. Now it's visible, right? So we can start by, now let's see the output of this one. So what a vague prompt does, like the results is, it's like too generic. It provides a very generic content. It lacks like the local context, the practical applicability, and it might give you like a list of like emergency types, but not structured guidance with fits in Kenyan hospital. So like this one, you can see it as an introduction. With that, let me zoom out.
So is this a good prompt?
This one is a vague one where we have not indicated the role. We don't have the role, the context. We don't have any instruction, the tone, or the goal. So it's a vague prompt. So with this one, what it provides like information that is very generic. It provides content that that's too generic. It's like it lacks like the local context or the practical applicability. So like here you can see it provides an introduction, children from adults, small, all this patriotic assessment. So here we don't have like a specific context or a specific goal that we want. But it provides a lot of information with that too. So we can, as well as here we can see it says like generic prompts are like produce generic content that lacks local context and practical applicability. Now let's see this this one is a good prompt because So here we have a role. Our role here is we wanted to act as a pediatric emergency physician. So the context is that Gertrude Children Hospital. So we wanted, this is the instruction part, prepare for our workshop for medical officers in the district hospitals across Kenya. Now this one is going to provide a more, like our result is a targeted one, like it's implementable. We want an implementable workshop that is realistic. So we also want we have a context specific and it aligns with the actual healthcare needs in Kenya. So what we'll have here, we'll have something that, we'll have something as our result, we'll have something that's targeted to a certain audience, something that is implementable to a workshop that is realistic. Here we are talking of Gertrude Children Hospital. It is context specific, and here you can see you get more specific information that's more realistic. You can see from here. Now this is a 4-hour pediatric emergency workshop. I can, Jeremy, you can share with them the prompt on the chat. Maybe they can try on their side. They see the difference of the output they get.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all on that. So here, after seeing the difference between a good prompt and a bad prompt, now we are going to see the ethical considerations in AI. So whenever we bring AI into healthcare and medical training, we must also think carefully about the ethics. AI is something that's powerful, but if it's not handled with responsibilities, it can cause harm. So these are the key considerations in ethical consideration while using AI: bias and discrimination. What AI does, it learns from data. So if the data is biased, the AI can amplify those biases. For example, if most training data comes from maybe, let's say, Western hospitals, the systems may perform poorly in Kenya if we do it in our Kenyan context. So the trainers must teach how to spot the correct bias, to spot and correct the biases. So number 2, we have transparency and accountability. So if AI makes a wrong diagnosis or suggestion, you can't state who is responsible, who is really responsible. Is it the medical trainer? So the medical trainer, you as a medical trainer, you come in here now, you need to emphasize on explainable AI. So decisions are clear and accountability is never lost. So on job security and health workers, so AI may automate tasks, but it also creates new opportunities in data analysis and telemedicine, and maybe things like AI oversight. We should highlight the opportunities and maybe not just the risks. So number 4, we have creative ownership. So creative and ownership. So when AI generates content visual or training case studies, who owns the rights? The trainers should discuss things like those. Yeah. So on the academic integrity, when AI is used for medical research or training materials, proper citation and attributions are essential to avoid plagiarism and things like that. That's all on ethical considerations. So here on text generation, Jeremy, you can do the part for, you can do the part for Gemini. I do, you can do the ChatGPT one. I do the Gemini on my hand as I share the prompt with, as I share the prompt with the chat. You can try it on your end. I've shared or Jeremy, or you shared it, okay?
Thank you, Chris. As you continue sharing that, we will also have just like 5 or 10 minutes on a bit of ethics also from Dominic, because he has been doing that a bit. You will so you can finish up in the next 10 or so minutes, and you can give him another 10 minutes to just share on some ethical considerations as we go along.
Okay. Jeremy, you can do one tool on text generation. Let me do one for image generation. Then the prompts will share them on the chat.
Maybe we do on text.
You do on text. Let me do on image. So on image, I'll go with the Gemini, because ChatGPT will take a lot of time to generate an image, and this is it didn't detect the text. So I'm doing one on image generation. So Jeremy is going to do the one for text generation. You can try the image generation part with the ChatGPT too. So here is our image. Anyone who has tried image generation with the ChatGPT?
Oh, you are asking us to try?
Yeah, you can try it on your end. I've shared the prompt on the chat for image generation.
Oh, you would have told us to install those LLMs.
Oh,
We'll explain how to access them. Maybe Chris
will share the links.
When finishes sharing, I'll explain how you can access them.
So Jeremy, you can share your part for text generation.
Okay, let me share. You can stop sharing.
Okay.
So like for now, we have done on. So for now, we have done on ChatGPT and Gemini. Maybe a recap on how you can access the tools. I've heard James asking if how you can install the tools. So these tools, you do not install them, so you access them. So let's go on your Chrome, you search for ChatGPT. When you search for ChatGPT, you'll get this. Let me zoom. So you'll get this one, the first one, chatgpt.com. That is the tool we are using, chatgpt.com. So when you're on chatgpt.com, a minute, I show you. The first time you need to create an account. So the benefits of having an account is you get access to a personalized chatbot. Like it knows you, it understands you in a way. So you'll come up and say sign up for free. When you're on chatgpt.com, you sign up for free to load. So over here, there are three options. Either you do it through your Google account, a Microsoft account, or your Apple, or your phone. But the best way is to do it using your Gmail. So you'll click on continue with Google. After you continue with Google, you select your Gmail. Yeah, and that's how now you get ChatGPT. So that is the benefit. So I recommend you people to create an account with ChatGPT, because if you don't have an account, you'll be losing your chats. Like this is like a WhatsApp version. Like it will save your chats when you have an account. So you can come back and continue a chat from yesterday and you continue. So if you want to access Gemini, you come and search Gemini on Google, Gemini. So the first one, gemini.com, Google gemini.com. So over here, that's how you access Gemini. The one Chris was showing you how to generate an image. So those are the two tools we have done, Gemini and ChatGPT. Maybe let me share the links on the chat. But they are free. Like you do not need to install any software or any. There is no extra thing you need, just an account, a Gmail account. So on text generation, this is the prompt bar. So the interface looks like this. You have the plus, you have the prompt bar where you start chatting. You have somewhere to dictate your notes. And also you can use voice mode. So if I want to dictate, I can click on this one. If I want to type, I can click here. So I can start typing. So this is the prompt that I'll be using. I've pasted it on the prompt section, the input. Then you click enter. So that's how the interface looks like. So it will generate the text. So when on ChatGPT, when you click on the sidebar, you have this sidebar. On the sidebar, there is the button for new chat. There is a button for search chats. So here you can find all the chats that I had started. So you can see all my chats. Like maybe when I want a new chat, I'll click on new chat. I'll go back to typing. I can say create. So here is where I type the prompt. The way Chris was showing us on how to do prompting there. And then if I want to continue then another chat I had, I can just click on it, I open it, and I can continue. So this is the output I get from my prompt. The one I had was about creating a lesson plan. So maybe I've explained on that. So Chris, you can continue.
Just a minute. Hello.
Oh, hello, yeah.
Yeah, if you do that, the chat, you're using, say, GPT-4 or whichever. When you log out, will the information remain when you come the next day and go to the same? It will be there or it will get lost?
So when you have an account, the information will always be there. Even if you log out and you log in again, you'll still find that information. So it will always be saved. So just create an account and you'll save. Maybe if you want to delete a chat, that's when you lose all your chats. On these three dots, when you say click, you can delete a chat like that. But as long as I have an account, even if I log out and I come back again, I log in again. Let me show you. So maybe I've logged out right now. And then I log in again. Continue Google. Minute. So you need to log in. So like that, I've logged in again. So on the left bar, you see my malaria lesson plan is still there. So I can just click on it. So yeah, so I recommend you create an account so that we can continue getting the same data. And also when you have your own account, ChatGPT also learns you. It knows what you do with it. Like it starts understanding you and you get better responses with it. So yeah, we'll explain more on that. Chris, maybe I've answered your question, James.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. So we've seen what AI is. We've seen how it works. We've talked on prompt engineering. We've talked on ethics, and I think that's all for today. Maybe I'll leave the other part for Dominic to finish on the ethics. So over to you, Dominic.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me just share my screen. Let's check. That's good. Please confirm you can view my screen. Maybe a thumbs up.
Yeah, we can see. I can see.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. My name is Dominic, and I'm a business analyst at the University of Nairobi. Also, I have affiliation with Privacy Hub Africa, which is a non-profit organization that champions data privacy, education, and awareness in Africa. So I'm here to at least give awareness on the issues of ethics, especially in in medical education, because we've realized that ethics is really central to artificial intelligence. Now, just to give a short recap of what ethics is. Ethics is just what people have generally come to understand as something that is morally right. Okay, so right or wrong. Okay, so at a personal level, there are things that you prefer, and the things that you prefer and say these are the correct things for me, and these things are wrong for me. That is a personal level, and that is a moral, a moral level. So when people now collectively come to decide that this thing is right in a society and this thing is wrong, so that's where now ethics comes in. Now, ethics in in medical education, why does it really matter? It matters because artificial intelligence is now here with us. And these are the things that we really need to discuss as medical educators, because AI, you find, is transforming medical education in a very big way. So this brings about challenges that are ethical challenges, which are real and are urgent and need to be discussed and addressed. So creating awareness is really our duty, so that the students are ethically aware as physicians. And then the goal is to balance, the coming innovation, which is coming in a really big way, and then balance it with responsibility. So that is the reason why ethics really matters in this situation. Now, what are the core principles of ethics? What will make something ethically wrong or ethically right? So something ethical, okay, something positive is something that respects human choice. So it respects each and every individual's choice to use or not to use, okay? And then it also advances human good, okay? It does good to people. That is something that is ethically right. And then it does not do harm to people. Okay, so we just want to make sure that AI doesn't do harm, but does good. So justice, that is meaning that it should be fair to every every construct of the human existence. Like, for example, we have different people with different abilities, with different, ages. We have people of different sexes. We have different colors. We have, humans are just so, diverse. So in that diversity, AI must exercise fairness and justice. And also, there's this core principle in ethics of transparency, that every decision that the technology makes, it is something that it can explain why it has arrived at that conclusion. And this is something that you will see very often, sometimes when using the large language models, that there are models that are reasoning, okay? I think you'll be taken through that you choose the reasoning part, and then it will, kind of try to discuss with itself on how it arrives at some of the decisions that it makes. So that one is just trying to show transparency, so that every decision it makes sense. And then accountability, it should take accountability for the decisions that it has made. It has taken responsibility for those decisions. Those are the core principles to make something, to discuss in ethics. So always remember that there are issues that normally come up. We call them critical risks to address. The critical risks to address when using AI is number one that is very, very huge, is amplification, bias amplification, the biasness that can come because of AI, because it can worsen disparities. And this one can be explained with so many examples, okay? So there's one example that I'd like to give, and it's an example that is real. And there's a big company that was recruiting top developers for data science in a very reputable company in the US. Now, as they were recruiting, they said they want to use AI to make this recruitment. Now, people were sending in their curriculum, their CVs, that is the is it curriculum vitae, something, CV, resume, let me just use the resumes, and then they will load it into an AI so that it can make, it can help in selecting the best candidates to take up the jobs. Something that really came out, the biasness that came out, is it kind of tried to favor male applicants and left out equally qualified female applicants, because it used the data used to train that artificial intelligence. You see, AI is always is just data that has been the models use data it has been trained on. So this has been trained on data of previous people who have been in such positions across the world. And something funny that found out is that most of these positions were held by men. So it took, like, if somebody is male, then it has to favor males first, and then later on. So you find that these are very worsened. It does not show justice. There's biasness in this. And another issue that is really critical is about privacy violations. This one can be student, patient, data at risk. One example I like to give on this is, for example, what I've just been shown. When you're trying to register yourself to use, for example, ChatGPT, it gives you options. Like I saw 4 or 5 options where you have Google. You can use your Google account, you can use your phone number, you can use Microsoft. You see, so sometimes it's always good to ask yourself, do you really want to expose your information regarding Gmail, because you have a lot of data there to be used, with the ChatGPT. Okay, so those are some of the reasons. And then when maybe you are looking for some information using ChatGPT, and then you inadvertently put patient's information that are personally identifiable information that you are seeking for help to treat this patient, you end up exposing all their data in AI. And you see this data, once you've hit enter in ChatGPT, that data is never lost. That data will forever remain in the servers. So that is privacy violation, ethical questions and challenges. So it needs to be addressed as at that level. And there are also many other problems, like some decisions that it makes that cannot be explained. It's a black box problem. Accountability gaps. Sometimes, who is responsible when AI fails? Yeah, who is responsible to compensate you? Maybe you have subscribed to this AI. Who is to compensate you when you really have an urgent work you want to do? You trust AI to go do it on your behalf, and then it goes on to fail, and then you don't meet your targets. Who will you blame? Are you gonna blame the company? You're gonna blame, you see, these are issues that need to be explained. And then informed consent. So using AI without proper disclosure is something that happens quite a lot. So some of these issues are critical and they need to be addressed. So action steps and key takeaways. So always remember that AI ethics in AI is not optional. It is not something that you can throw away. For example, you cannot put in personally identifiable information without their consent. Okay, because you are jeopardizing their future life. As AI is growing, it is envisaged that AI is going to be, there's going to be one huge artificial intelligence. See, now we have different companies coming up with different models, but the end is we are going to have one single AI that has the database of everyone in the world. And when we reach there, if you did something that, or somebody typed your name and said what you did, and that thing that may not go well, it might jeopardize your chances of surviving. If, for example, they end up having robots that are using the same, you see, and those robots are so intelligent, they can identify people by faces and go through the data and get to know about you before you even talk to it. So these are things that we really need to be very aware. So it's not an option. It is essential that everybody understands, especially on data privacy and information use. So graduates or the students must be both technologically skilled, but always remember they must be grounded on ethics. So that is the key takeaway. And there's so much that can be talked about in ethics, and there are so many examples and how we can mitigate some of the harm that it can cause, and also amplify the good that we can come out that AI gives to the human race. All right, so that's my short presentation, and thank you very much. And back to other presenters. Unless there's a question, I welcome it. Thank you.
Yeah, there is a question. Yeah, there is
Yes,
a question.
go ahead, James. Go ahead.
Yeah, for the purpose of us practicing, which LLM would you recommend, the ChatGPT, Gemini, or which one for uniformity? Which one would you recommend that we have for our practice?
Well, that's a very good question, and I think the reason why this course is really important is because you are going to be exposed to different kind of LLMs, because every LLM has a reason why it's been trained to do, and it has its strengths. So you'll find that there's LLM that you can use for presentation. You get an LLM that you can use for voice. There's an LLM, so you'll find so many of them. So it's up to you, after going through using every LLM that you'll be taught here, then you'll say, if I want to write notes, which one do I go for? So you know exactly what you go for, because you've had an experience and experience of others of what LLMs do, because they keep changing quite a lot. Because recently, like 2 days ago, there's a company, I think it was GPT, that came up with GPT-5. Maybe, okay, the news comes very fast. Sometimes I get overwhelmed, but just immediately they released their model for video. There's another company, also a Chinese company, they came up with one that is almost also free. So you sit in a dilemma and see, which one should I now go for? Of course, definitely people will try the free version first before they spend money on it. So these are the things, these are the trade-offs that you are going to get. For example, myself, I do a lot of coding, building application. And with the advent of artificial intelligence, you find that the traditional way of building application is being overtaken, because you can build something really fast when you use artificial intelligence. Now, if I use a model today, that model comes out as a test. So they test for you, you use it for free for a given period, maybe 1 month. And once 1 month is gone, then you start paying for it. So instead of me paying for that, I look for another model that is free. So that's what defines my own way of which LLM am I going to use. So there are many factors that will make you choose which to use for what purpose. So there's no single answer say use this, but many factors determine which model you want to use. I hope I'm clear with that, James.
Yes, you are. And thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic, for that sharing. I think it's worthwhile at least to note what we need to do as far as ethics is concerned. It's a big field because we are moving to that direction where people use your content or the AI uses your content. And I think there's a way that you can also shield your content. In one of the videos, I will show you, someone shared for us some videos where you can actually shield your content from just being moved around. So maybe with time, I'll show you that. So we are already, I think, quarter past time. If there are questions, please put them on the WhatsApp. But today we've learned about prompt engineering, the 5 parts of prompt engineering. You've also been given how to do it. Please go and practice it. We've done a bit of content generation, image generation, and text generation using the prompts. Please go look it up and practice. And then the ethics. So going forward, I'm going to share the recording. And then we are going to, you'll practice your prompt engineering and then share tomorrow. And tomorrow we still continue with content generation, because content generation can either be image, video, text. I don't know whether there's something else, but the trainers will say. But that's what we'll still continue with tomorrow. But before we come tomorrow, please practice and then share what you come out of it. So if there's no other question, Chris and Jeremy, anything else you'd want to say before we close?
Okay, guess today we have learned more about prompt engineering. Maybe Chris has shared how you write the prompts, the 5 rules of prompting, the role context, tone, goal. Yeah. So I guess we need to practice more on that. We'll share infographic. We'll share more details on how to do that on the chat, on the group chat, so that you can practice on that. So maybe Chris.
I'd love to thank you guys. So we've seen like what AI is. We've seen how it works. We've done part of prompt engineering, and we've addressed the ethics of using AI. So as Madam Lucy has said, you go practice, try doing the prompt part using the components we said of writing a good prompt, and keep on practicing. Yeah, that's all. Over to you, Madam Lucy.
Thank you. Fiona, anything you want to say to the group on this first day? I know we are time off.
Yes,
Then we can close it up. Yeah.
Just to thank the participants for the participation and to indicate like this is the beginning of, we are really at the foundation stage. There is so much that AI can do, and the ability to navigate it effectively, especially as you mentioned at the beginning, we are working with Gen Zs who will be quite advanced in using AI. It will also be a credibility issue with time, like ability or inability to use AI effectively and fluently is something that is quite important. So maybe also to thank you for organizing this and for especially for the sector that you're in, where AI is being used to do surgeries 8,000 kilometers away. So it's just, it really is a big field for the medical field, and we are quite happy to be partnering on this.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fiona. Thank you, Chris and Jeremy, and thank you, Dominic. And thank you, participants. I hope tonight you have something for you to go and do. So let's call it a day and let's meet tomorrow at 7. So tomorrow we start exactly at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m.
Adios.
Yeah, thank you and good night.
Gute Nacht. Gute Nacht.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.